Mace taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. He was like, boy, once you figure out how to rap the same way you act in these streets, it's gonna work for you. Just keep going. And that's all so I always gotta give credit to where credit is due and shit like that. It would be no Jim Jones.
This shit ain't no game. They can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much to worry about, too much to do.
What was your reaction when Cameron brought up all these old stories and everything about you?
I laugh, man. I got this thing, man. People laugh at the lies, but the truth always hurt. You know, lies are more entertaining. You heard? You get to laugh, you get the joke, but the truth is a serious thing, no matter how you look at it. The truth is what the truth is.
Every nigga that put hands on you or you get to altercation, you cool with him. You tried to chase French Montana out the game, that ain't work out. Y'all got cool. So cool that you go to his video shoot, pardon me, not his video shoot, his movie. You're sitting in the crowd watching the premiere and they dissing you in the movie. You in the movie getting dissed, you gotta eat it, just sitting in the crowd. Nah, they dissing you in the movie that you went to go see, bro. Every nigga that do something to put pressure on you, you sit there and work it out. But when they got a little genuine heart for you and all that, cool, that's the pattern. If they don't put hands on you, then you can keep going on and on and on. But the niggas who do this, you cool with, and then the niggas who try to handle it sophisticatedly, you keep going on and on like niggas give a f about all that shit, bro. Niggas don't care about none of that shit, man. Niggas don't care a little bit, man. What I'll finish with is this, man. I'm never here to downplay your character. As much as you try to degrade my character for years and push me under the bus and say, I ain't start this and I ain't do that, and you started Pink and you made the Diplomats, which is just... Do you ever hear me talk about when you ran on me when BMF pulled up? When you ran in the hotel, they chased you to the beach. Yeah, they chased you to the beach, you was in the sand. You was getting wet from the water, from the ocean. I don't pump that. I don't pump all that shit because I ain't trying to degrade your character. You know why? Because the revolution was televised. That's why I'm here. That's why God worked like that. That's why me and Murder is here. The revolution was televised. Because you talking about?
I was at Jim album release party and everybody was over there with Jim, and Cam is standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. There's no Dipset without Jim. Jim is the gangbanger of the crew. Cam is not a blood. I don't even know if Joel's was. I doubt Freaky was, right? But the set, it comes from the gang shit, right? All the gang all ran under Jim.
Right.
All of the muscle was Jim. That wasn't Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Cam was like the JV.
Cam was the artist. Jim and Cam were partners, so to speak, but Jim took the role of being the underboss, the muscle, to make sure that Cam could function and move around and not have a bad reputation or be getting robbed and all this other stuff. So Jim put he stood front line for anything in regards to Cam, and then he put Dipset in front of Cam. The wedge that came between Cam and Jim is Jim's success. Cam always looked at him as being the star, Jim being Capo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's kind of like Sammy the Bull becoming John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Gotti's probably gonna feel a little way if Sammy becomes the main man. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, that's what it is. Jim started to grow as an artist. And as he started to grow as an artist, he started moving from standing behind Cam to he started standing next to Cam. And then it got to a point where he stood in front of Cam. And Cam was looking him over his shoulder like, yo, what you doing? And then that built the animosity. And by the time Ballin' hit, Cam had a gang of animosity and internal hatred. And I know, because I seen it, I was there. I felt like he was a fucking hater because like, I felt like he was supposed to be happy for Jim. He was under the wing. Jim was the muscle. You get what I'm saying? Jim he's Cam's partner.
Copy.
But he's taking a step back to play the muscle.
Cam and Jim history go back before me. You understand what I'm saying? When I met Cam and Jim, they were super close. So I honestly don't really know Jim being from the Bronx and all that. You know what I'm saying? When I met them, they was in 5H, which is, you know what I'm saying, Jim's apartment, and that's, you know, like, I guess that time was after all the stuff Cam had said already with the Children of the Corn and Jim, you know, whatever he said, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when I got there, Cam and Jim was like this, super tight. Mace wasn't even in the picture. I don't know Mace like that, you know what I'm saying? Every time I seen Mace, it's been a mutual, you know what I'm saying, respect there. So, you know, that's what that's been as far as me and Mace, you know what I'm saying? As far as, yeah, when I met Cam and Jim, they were already Trump tight and locked in. You understand what I'm saying? The Diplomats was already a name they had. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit there and claim I made the Dip, so that's not something I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I made Dipset though, the two. Yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying?
You know, the internet gets kind of crazy with the lies. The lies be going crazy on the internet.
I mean, well, the lies start from a narrative, and the narrative starts from a person, and you just got to look at it like that. But I've never been one in my life to care about clearing up no rumors. Like, that just takes time out my day from making money. I know who I am. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I stand 10 toes down on everything I believe in. I don't change my pivot, and everybody knows that. I mean, as you can see, I would not be here if I did anything else but be me.
Stop tricking out their freedom, bro. This is gonna be the last time I address this. Whatever you got to say after this, good luck, I wish you luck. I got other shit to do. This is not on my motherfucking place. Believe what you wanna believe, because I got other things to do. You feel me, Murder? I ain't wanna snap one of them nose, but yeah, I'm good.
Here goes some popcorn stack.
But now people got these platforms where, you know, they asking people, so it's like a thin line. So then you got Jim, like, it's just like people say you can't respond, even though Jim wasn't attacked, his name was mentioned. You understand what I'm saying? So now it opens the door for Jim to say something back. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? With these podcasts and shit like that. So it opens the door, and Jim chose to, you know, say why niggas on his dick. You know what I'm saying? That's how Jim chose to carry it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Cam chose to carry it the way Cam chose to carry it, and you have what you have now. You know what I'm saying? All I can say is Jim and Cam are very competitive. You understand what I'm saying? They've always been competitive, and it got to the point to where, you know, they had to be competitive against each other. I really looked at podcasts the other day. I was watching a bunch of podcasts. I'm like, it's crazy how all these old stories are getting everybody into so much trouble. These are just be old stories. Even like all this Cam said. All this Cam said was something. He said all that on a live he did before, or pretty much like he did. You know what I mean? When him and Jim had some words, you know, they weren't on the best of terms years ago. So, you know, it's just new to the new listeners. You know what I'm saying? And the new internet fans and the new people that are on, you know, these podcasts and listening to these podcasts. So, you know, this is just like a double back of something that happened a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, did this shit again. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of, like I said, you know, because I have my own issues with, you know what I mean? Behind the scenes, or whatever the case may be. We all probably have our own issues behind the scenes with whoever, but, you know.
Mace need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He look terrible, bad body, back ass. He look big around the neck, waist look crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He need to go get his shit together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, nigga. A fan. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem shit and everything. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? From Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem. Yeah.
They know what I've done. And dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem.
Get out of here.
Yeah, listen, man. Listen. You were fanned out and you begged niggas to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. Mace actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Mace taught me how to rap.
You say it. We taught you how to rap. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomat. You ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan. That's how you got down originally. Period. I heard the new shit you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. Why? Why are we going to Jomo's house? So yeah, I would bring some bitches over there to fuck sometime. A little crack maybe.
I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down.
You are a guardian angel and designer. What the f is you talking about, man? You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man. Do you remember how we met? Pause. Not met, how you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. And you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house. You said, yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit. More freestyles come out. Y'all heard the new shit you did. Children of the Corn, 12-minute freestyle. Mace, Cameron, Cardan, DJ Clue. Google Bloodshed and Cameron, Children of the Corn, freestyle. Are you at any of these places? No, you was not there, man. You wasn't there.
This ain't just a rap beef. This is family business gone terribly wrong. This is what happens when the architects of an empire turn the blueprints into firewood and burn down the whole building. We're talking about the Diplomats, Dipset, the Harlem World Order, Cameron, Jim Jones, Maze. Names that built a dynasty on pink fur, cocaine rhymes, and an unstoppable wave. But what happens when the royalty decides the crown ain't big enough for everybody? When the brothers who bled together start drawing blood from each other, you get the verbal assassination we're witnessing right now. Strap in, because this ain't for the faint of heart. First, let's set the scene for the newcomers. Late 90s, early 2000s. Harlem wasn't just on the map, it was the map. And Dipset was the flag. Cameron, the flashy, genius mastermind with the punchlines that could knock you out. Jim Jones, the gritty, raspy-voiced hustler, the capo, the one who made Ballin' a national anthem. And Maze, the anomaly, the superstar who walked away from Bad Boy, from Diddy, from Millions, to answer a higher calling. They were untouchable. But time, money, credit, and pride, that'll break down any fortress. Fast forward to now. Jim Jones is on what looks like a victory lap. He's getting Grammy nods, doing interviews with the mainstream press, moving in executive circles, getting his flowers as a veteran. He's trying to, let's say, elevate the narrative. And from his view, he's earned that. But from the view of his old comrades? Nah. It looked like revisionist history. It looked like he was sanitizing the struggle, the come up, the real. And to Cam and Maze, that was like a red flag to a bull. They took it as Jim trying to act like he built Dipset by himself, like he was always that guy. And they had receipts they'd been sitting on for decades. The whole thing blew wide open on the It Is What It Is podcast. And let me tell you, the title never felt more accurate. Mace, the pastor, came out that pulpit swinging bricks. He didn't come to play. He came to exhume. Maze went straight for the foundation, the most lethal accusation you can throw in hip-hop. He called Jim Jones an industry plant, but not in a vague, hater way. He gave a full-color documentary. He said, point blank, that in the early Dipset days, Jim was not the natural rapper. He claimed that him, Cam, and others wrote Jim's rhymes. He said Jim's whole persona, the capo, the street guy, was a carefully crafted character, and that the industry machine was behind it to make him the perfect sidekick to Cam. Let that marinate. He said, we created that guy. He undermined Jim's entire origin story. In a world where your truth is your currency, Maze was calling his currency counterfeit. He was saying the man you know as Jim Jones is a work of fiction. And Maze wasn't finished. He then looked at Jim's current renaissance, the critical praise, the industry respect, and he basically called it a continuation of the same program. A calculated, manufactured moment. This was a cold, premeditated character assassination from a man who used to break bread with him. This was the ultimate betrayal, delivered with a calm, I'm just telling the truth demeanor. Now, if Maze was the sniper on the roof, Cameron was the dude who pulls up in a pink convertible, blasting music, and throws a whole bucket of shame on you while he's laughing. Cam took the platform and delivered a masterclass in how to clown someone out of their own legacy. This wasn't anger. This was artful, hilarious disrespect. Jim tried to talk about squashing the beef, acting like an elder statesman. Cam's response? He laughed. He treated the very idea as a joke. But then he got surgical. First, he impersonated Jim's voice. That iconic, gritty rasp? Cam made it sound like a frog who smoked too many Newports. He turned Jim's signature sound into a cartoon. Then he went for the jugular, the ballin'. Ad-lib, Jim's war cry, his trademark. Cam painted a picture of Jim in the studio, stuck, not knowing what to say next, and just yelling ballin' to fill the space. He turned Jim's greatest asset into a symbol of creative emptiness. He made ballin' sound desperate, not triumphant. But the kill shot, the line that's going to be etched on tombstones in rap battle history. Cam was talking about all Jim's new, polished interviews. He said, it's a funeral, not an interview. Dead. It's a funeral, not an interview. Yo, pause. Rewind that. He wasn't saying Jim was doing bad interviews. He was saying the media is doing a postmortem. They're not celebrating a living legend. They're writing his obituary. That is one of the coldest, most vivid lines in beef history. He declared Jim's career deceased on the spot. Now, since this all exploded, the internet dug deeper and more layers peeled back. This ain't just about feelings. This is about money and credit. Reports surfaced about the publishing for those classic Dipset records. Who really wrote what? The whispers became shouts. There's also talk about Jim's role in the famous Dipset reunion at the 2023 Grammys. Some say Jim was taking all the credit for making it happen, acting as the sole diplomat, which rubbed Cam and Maze the wrong way. It's about the narrative, and who gets to profit from it, financially and culturally. So why did these blows land like atomic bombs? Because of witness testimony. These ain't outsiders. This is Maze and Cam, the co-defendants. When they say, we were there, we built you, fans have to listen. That's an inside job. Because of the delivery. Maze with the calm, devastating facts. Cam with the hilarious, dismissive roast. It's a combo you can't block. You can't fight a fact and a joke at the same time. And because they didn't attack his rap skills, they attacked his soul, his authenticity, Maze, and his legacy, Cam. They turned his myth into a meme. Jim's response? He's fired some shots on tracks like Back in My Prime, talked his stuff on social media, did interviews saying he's disappointed. But how do you fight a narrative this detailed, this entertaining, and this personal? Any counterattack just feeds the beast. If he goes too hard, he looks bitter. If he ignores it, he looks guilty. They backed him into a corner with a microphone in his face. This is bigger than rap. This is about history being rewritten in real time. It's about what you owe to the people you came up with when you make it to another level. It's about the brutal reconciliation of past and present. For us, it's the best reality show ever made. It's Shakespeare with more jewelry and better sneakers. So what's next? Will Jim drop a diss track so lethal it turns the tide? Or is the funeral procession really underway? One thing's for sure. The streets are watching, the internet is feeding, and the legacy of Dipset is being carved up in public. All right, I've talked enough. Now I need to hear from you. Drop into the comments and let's get this debate lit. Were Cam and Maze justified for airing all that dirty laundry to the world? Or was that family business that should have stayed behind closed doors? Is Jim Jones a true hip-hop survivor getting ganged up on? Or is this a reckoning that's been due for 20 years? Let me know what you think. And if you want more deep dives into the messiest, most entertaining beefs in the game, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe with notifications on, because we break it down raw every time. Until next time, peace. Or, in the spirit of today's video, ballin', allegedly.